What up, y'all? Back again on another Monday. You know what time it is? It's sermon day. Forgive me, I'm a little baggy baked right now. and I don't know. I was just kind of in a weird mood today, and this is what I came up with. So I hope you guys enjoy. Give me feedback, love, hate, whatever you want to do. An unexamined life is not worth living. Socrates from Plato's Apology. And it's attributed to when he was put on trial for Asabeia due to refusing to acknowledge the gods of the state, and for the corruption of the youth, encouraging the young people of Athens to question the accepted traditions of city, i.e., religion, authority, politics, etc. His trial took place 2400 plus years ago, and according to Plato's account, the above quote was made by Socrates himself, preferring death to silence and exile, which he felt would compromise his pursuit of truth. I do not wish to bash anyone's religious beliefs, but for me personally, I do not believe in the Bible or in its reading as historical text. I believe it to be an allegorical text at best and a bid for control at worst. Some people need the stories in order to become idealized versions of themselves. Some use it as an excuse for their hatred or bigotry. So many wars, murders, rape, genocide, theft of land, and eradication of cultures were all carried out in the name of God. And you need not look any further than the decolonization movements occurring on every populated continent on the planet. So many of our ancestors were called savages and treated in a manner that can only be considered subhuman by any reasonable and sane individual, for simply existing as they had for hundreds, if not thousands of years prior to colonization. Our ancient temple and holy sites predate Christianity by generations, yet somehow we as people of color were deemed as heretics and put to death for not accepting a God foisted upon us by our would-be superiors. I myself am on a journey to understand myself on a spiritual level, and that has included understanding what cultures around the world believe, but on a more personal level, figuring out what my ancestors also believed in an effort to find the pieces of my story and soul lost in the sea of time. So much of my life has been marred with the need for approval and fear of judgment. I was always the hardcore kid, for lack of a better term. I wanted to be counterculture and care not for the views and opinions of others. Alas, that was all a gilded facade for my edifice of insecurity. I was concerned about the opinions and perceptions of others, while never acknowledging that those same people would take umbrage with anything outside of what they consider the norm, whatever the hell that means. I've watched good people be corrupted by prejudice and intolerance, for simply wanting to be normal and fit in with the image that we are all sold through the media of the 2.5 kids in a white picket fence. I've seen strong people so desperate for love they allow toxic people to get away with any and everything, including using and manipulating them based on a fear of being alone or isolated. I have witnessed what happens to someone with too big of a heart when they do not receive the same love back that they give. They hold it in, not expressing anything, until the emotional container inevitably cracks and shatters into a million pieces. Then, they proceed to try and glue everything back together with whatever vice they most assuredly have, only to become the very thing they hate, another stereotype or statistic. I have observed the most resolute of us crumble to ash when the Reaper came calling for someone that they loved, regardless of the type of relationship they had, only to rise again as does the Phoenix. These are all my stories, but they are also everyone else's as well. We've all wanted to be accepted at some point in our lives, only to feel the shame of rejection and dim our light in order to become more appealing. We have all allowed ourselves to be hurt and manipulated by someone we love longer than we should have. We have all given too much, only to receive a pittance, if anything, in return. We've all been affected by death. She's the inescapable mistress all of us are forced to take. In all of these situations, you have three options: ignore it and bury it deep inside, make it everyone else's problem, or grow and learn a lesson from it. Ignoring it does nothing whatsoever, for a time at least. The incontrovertible and inconvenient truth of the matter is, however, those who are cut bleed, and if you refuse to acknowledge the wound, not only does it become infected, but at some point, you're going to bleed onto someone else. Making things everyone else's problem can rear its ugly head in many different forms. You can engage in destructive behaviors by indulging in the aforementioned vices that provide some level of comfort, but in the process, you strain relationship with those that care about you because they don't want to see you hurt yourself. You can make yourself the victim and use all the negative goings on as a justifiable reason to control situations and outcomes to your favor and label it as safety and self care. You can use it as ammunition to walk around and scorch the earth every place you go. You make everyone fear you and tiptoe around your feelings as if it was a minefield they didn't know they were traversing until they were halfway through. You could freeze them out like it was the second coming of the Ice Age, where everything feels so detached, cold, and indifferent that every time you show the smallest ember of warmth, they cling to it as if their lives depended on it. And to them, it does. I am guilty of all of this and then some. And the only logical conclusion that I can come to is through introspection. I'm privileged to learn from my mistakes. Not everyone has that capability initially, but it can be learned if you are willing to put in the work. My challenge to you this week is to examine your life. Where are you not being authentically yourself? And see if you can change it. And if you cannot change it, at the very least, learn to accept it. Make it a life worth living, not one that you mourn every day. We've all spent a lot of time trying to create our image from the time we were young until now. I'm 42, and I spent the majority of my life crafting an image that didn't resonate with me, but it was what I thought everybody else wanted me to be. Whether or not that's true, I don't know. I do know in certain situations that there were certain expectations that I did not live up to. And for me, I don't care. I don't care what everybody expects of me. I don't care what everybody projects on me. I just want to be happy from here on out. And that's all I've wanted for a long time. But I had to cling to the character that I created because that's what everybody else expected. And in examining my life, I had a lot of decisions to make. I had to decide whether or not I was going to be the person that I pretended to be, or if I was going to be the person that I feel like I am deep down. The person before you is an amalgamation of everything in my 42 years. I don't bring up the past as a way to garner sympathy. I don't bring it up because I want to bring it up. I do it because for the first time in my life, I am safe. And because I'm safe, I'm able to actually feel the feelings now. Nobody can stop me anymore. Does that make certain days hard? Absolutely. Because I've had to come to grips with a lot that I'm not the person that I want to be, and that other people aren't the people that I want them to be. No matter how much I screamed and cried and begged and prayed and anything else, I have to take people for what they're worth. And their worth is dictated by their actions. And the actions tell me, you're on your own, kid. And that's unfortunate. My wife and I have tried to make a village time and time again. And time again, it's gotten burned to the ground only for us to try to rebuild it. We were the hang house. We were the crux of friend groups and whatnot. And it didn't get us anything. Got us a lot of heartache, a lot of headache. and a lot of manipulation. And I include myself in that. It's not happening in my life anymore. Again, I am 42 years old. I have a 22-year-old son. I have a 20-year-old daughter. And I got two still left in school. Two boys, 15 and 13. I have a wife that has put up with all manner of my bullshit and then been blamed for changing me somehow. That I'm actively rebuilding my relationship with. And it's great. It's great right now. We're not on an uphill. We're on a let's continue the progress. And I love that. Same with my kids. I've worked the past few years to rebuild my relationship with them. And now I have a granddaughter. I have a daughter in law. That's so weird to say. In both situations. I actually like my daughter's boyfriend. I have been a bad guy. A lot. But coincidentally, the vast majority of people that say I was a bad guy never really experienced it. There's a handful of people on this planet that have actually experienced me being an asshole, a real asshole. And like I said, I'm rebuilding my relationship with them actively. Introspection has saved my life. It saved my marriage. It saved my relationship with my children. It has enabled me to now have a relationship with my granddaughter because I had to take accountability. Because I had to look at my two oldest with tears in their eyes and say, Dad, you hurt me. And then explain how I did so. And I didn't fly off the handle. I sat and I cried with them. And I apologized. And I told them how sorry I was for ever making them feel the way that I made them feel because that was never my intention, especially with them. Introspection has also shown me my worth. And looking within, I found what I was lacking. And I'm working on it. I'm trying to lead by example. I'm trying to live a life that I can be proud of, not everybody else, me. And I am damn proud of this life. I'm damn proud of the things that I have accomplished. I'm sure as hell proud of the family that I made. They are my pride. They will be my legacy. I am grateful every single day for the ability to look at myself objectively and admit where I have fallen short in my life. Not only admit it, but try to fix it the right way. Not the destructive way, not the harmful way, the slow and steady way to prove to the people that I have hurt that I am truly sorry. Words without action mean nothing to me. And I live by that, even when it's me having to put the action forth. I'm not a hypocrite in that fashion. I'm not a hypocrite in any fashion. I try not to be. Excuse me. Everybody look at yourself in the mirror. I recommend, this is the pothead in me, getting almost irresponsibly baked and just sit in silence. Not with your phone, not with music on, just silence. Binaural beats if you can find them. iDose or HemiSync. If you want to do something like that, I recommend that as well. But just sit. Sit with your thoughts and ask yourself who you want to be. Not who does everybody else want you to be. Strip it down to the bare bones. You at your core, in your soul, what do you want to be? I want to be a writer, so I write now. After spending 20 plus years in an industry that I didn't care for. It's not ego that compels me. It's a drive and desire to feel fulfilled. And if I have a say in it, this is what I'm going to do the rest of my life. And I encourage everybody else to look at your stuff, decide where you're falling short, do your best to fix it. Because all we can do is try, even though Yoda said, do or do not. I hope everybody has a great week. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. We're really trying to grow the channel, we're really trying to push out more content, and we are getting more consistent. So until next time, it's Father Bobbert wishing you peace, love, and light.